Hey guys, it's Lisa and welcome to my channel. Today we're going to make some ornaments and we're going to start with these little wooden ornament shapes. I got these last year and I can't remember if I got them at the Dollar Tree or the Dollar General. But I think they came like maybe 4 to a pack. But I'm sure that you could find these at Hobby Lobby or any craft store. But I do expect them to be at the Dollar General or the dollar store at some point this year. I'm hoping anyway. So what I'm doing with these is I give them all one coat of the color buttercream because I just want a good light neutral color for the background. And for the tree that I'm putting these on, I'm kind of using them as filler ornaments in that I want to add some warmth to the tree. So I'm making enough of these to kind of warm that tree up. I feel like there's a lot of whites and I just wanted some warmth to it. So I'm using a tissue, gift tissue here. To decoupage on this, and I think this is one that I found at Hobby Lobby last year, and it's just a good neutral color with just a kind of very faint print on it. And then the other print that I'm going to use is a napkin that I found at Target this year for fall. And this is a good napkin for fall, but I feel like it works well for Christmas also. So I just decoupage this on these two prints on all of these, and then I let them dry. And now that they're dry, and I've taken some sandpaper and sanded all around the edges to neaten up cut the paper off that wasn't cut. But now I am adding some distress ink to this. So I just want to do some distressing around these edges, and it just gives it more of a finished look. And I do that distressing all the way around, even around the top there. And I'm putting these on my faith tree. So I thought this would be a good opportunity to use a lot of my, or some of my scripture stamps. So I'm just using different scripture and layering it with other paper. And each time I layer the paper on this, I make sure to distress each layer. So for this one, I've just taken some white paper and distressed around the edges. And then I decided also to add a little extra distressing on that white because I felt like it was a little bit too sharp, but I did want the contrast that comes with it. So I added just a little bit to the actual face of the paper and not just around the edges. So these ornaments almost make me think of hang tags because we're going to do a lot of the same things that we do with our hang tags and just kind of layer papers and cloth and lace on some, and I'll use some buttons on some. But this is almost like, well actually it's a lot like making hang tags. And when I'm gluing this paper down, I just use clear Elmer school glue. I think it holds really well and it's easy to work with. So unless I'm gluing cloth, then I usually just use this school glue. And here I'm finishing this one off with some of the lace from the Dollar Tree. And then I just tie some ribbon around the top of this. And this is a really fine light pink lace that I thrifted, and I have so much of this, so I'm trying to use it where I can. But in order to use it on this, I have to use my distress ink on it and just really darken it up. and that will warm that pink up. And you can kind of tell that it's pink, but it's not obvious now, and it goes well with my ornament. So if you've got a lace that the color doesn't really work, as long as it's light, a lot of times you can work with that. So I'm just tying a little bow in my ribbon here, and then I'll put a hook on this one and it will be finished. And I know some of you will ask, I'm going to put $3 on these, and the actual disc weren't pricey at all. I'm sure that most likely I got 4 of them for $1, and very little time in this, so I feel like $3 is a good price. And now I'm layering another one just like I did the other one, and I use this technique on a lot of these, but I like to have that little bit of white behind this darker book page. This is just an old book page that I've torn up that didn't have any writing on it. And like I said, I think the white looks good behind that. And if you don't have this Distress Oxide or even the Distress Ink, the Distress Ink is the same thing, it's just darker. It just shows up more. But I'm using Distress Oxide here, and this is in the color Vintage Photo. But if you don't have this Distress Ink and these little ink blender tools, you should really try it, because I use it not only on paper, but as you can see, I used it around the edges of my ornament, and I distress fabric with it, and it's just really versatile. It works on a lot of different projects. So that's something that if you're just getting into crafting and you're not sure exactly what to buy, that is something that's well worth starting out with. So here I've just got some lace, and I'm gonna rough up the edges, and sometimes I'll do that with my fingers because I've cut this out from some fabric from a fabric yard, and I don't like that cut edge, so I just pull at it, and now I'm using some scissors to kind of pull at it some more, and that just kind of frays those edges, and it also puckers them some, and I just feel like that's a lot better look than that cut edge. And I'm going to just glue this on with hot glue, and I don't lay that down flat. Sometimes I might on these, but for this one, I'm going for texture here. So I put the glue on, and while the glue is still wet, and I use a low temp glue gun, so I'm able to just touch my fabric immediately and it not bother my hands. But while it's still wet, I kind of push against it to kind of scrunch it up, and that just adds more texture. So now I'm adding some more scripture to this old book page again, and you'll see me using book page a lot on this. And but because I'm gluing it on that texture, I need a harder backing to it. I need to make this more substantial. So I just tore out a little piece of cardboard to glue onto the back, so that when I glue that on, it has that, the texture doesn't show through the paper, if that makes sense. And I'm adding just a little bit more fabric and some buttons, and just continuing to add texture to this. So these are something I'm just going to let you watch me do, and it's something that I can't really talk through the whole time. It would just be a lot of monotonous talking, because I'm saying the same things over and over again. I know that some of you don't like it when I play the music, but I think in this case I'm going to have to. But I'll jump in and give you some instruction when I feel like you need it. Now here I will say that I am tearing some fabric, or not fabric, paper here to put behind this lace that I'm putting the center, and I'm doing that because it's more of a sheer lace and it kind of just doesn't show up really putting that on there, so I felt like it needed some white behind it, so that's what I'm doing there before I glue the lace on. I hope you guys enjoy this video, and I hope to see you in the next. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great evening, and God bless you and your family.